Welcome back. Sorry about the wait there. Um, it's rather interesting. I saw an article about the anniversary of one of Lamb of God's albums called "Burn the Palace." Well, as the palace burns. Sorry about that. Sorry. Trying to listen to myself to make sure I got my microphone on. So anyway, as I was talking about the album's 20th anniversary is coming up, and apparently, from what it's they're talking about that they were referring to having something special in mind for that. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. That'd be kind of interesting. Um, if it's going to be maybe a revised version, or maybe even who knows, maybe having somebody featured in the song, kind of like they did with Megadeth. I think that'd be kind of interesting to see that happen. Like maybe even having like somebody like John Five playing in there, or somebody else singing in there. Who knows? Or even Dave from Megadeth going and me kind of singing a song of theirs for once for the 20th anniversary. I think that'd be kind of cool. It's like I didn't realize that it had been that long for some of the albums that they've had. There are some bands that I don't know as well, and I still don't know. I haven't listened to them as much, but I've kind of broadened my horizons with that. I've discovered a lot of new stuff, and yeah, and I'm gonna have to do a lot of research on that because I'm not well versed in bands and band names on some things. I usually have a certain niche that I've enjoyed, and things that I've discovered that I didn't know about, that I've told people about that I know. Um, it'd be interesting to see that, and quite a few other bands that I've listened to with different concerts I've been to, like Above Snakes and September Morning Raw, um, the Who, not the H no WHO Who, but the HU Who, the Mongolian metal band. They're like one of my favorites. So besides some of the other bands I've talked about in the past, and I've definitely got a newfound appreciation for Lamb of God, and also some of the other groups back in the day, back in the 80s, that I didn't get to know as well as I had wanted to because I didn't know that much about them. And some of them, you see them in a record store and you couldn't listen to just anything you wanted to. So it's one of those things like, okay, do I buy the album? Do I not buy the album? You can't listen to it on the radio. So it's kind of a drag when you don't have that opportunity to do that. So with the new, revolution of music itself, really helps not only the old school artists for people to discover them that they didn't know or didn't know that much about, actually gets to hear them for the first time and enjoy their music, which I think is really beneficial. Um, so, like I said before, some of the different things with Max and all those gentlemen that I admire, and even with Pantera and all that stuff, people didn't get to hear it before, but now they're gonna hear it on basically online at first, but that might intrigue them to go to one of the shows, and I think that'd be pretty awesome. It's like somebody mentioned before that even though some people might be upset with certain things, that it's an opportunity for them to hear the music performed live. Um, it may not be the same band, which I can understand some people being upset with. But yeah, it's one of those things that I think is a definite thing that people need to have to listen to, so that way they can feel that energy from the band itself, and some of the work they've done, and what um, they do every day and enjoy doing, and putting their work together. And actually, I just watched an interview with, I guess it's through Heavy New York, is what it's called, a stream that a gentleman runs with different bands, which he's probably been doing this for a while longer than I have. And it'd be kind of interesting to see a few more of his interviews with a bunch of different bands, and even some that I have not heard of yet, and he might not have heard of everything that I have too. It's hard to say. Um, it seems rather interesting that he was talking to, I think it was Mike Campbell, is his name, from Lamb of God. Let me see here. Oh, sorry, John Campbell. Um, John Campbell. I want to make sure I said it right. Because, like I said, I don't know every band member there is, unfortunately, in every band. Um, and even some of the people that I have watched that just recently watched and even talked to. Which reminds me, I've got to find out Above Snake's lead singer. I got to talk to him at his concert. He wasn't performing then, but I think it was afterwards. And yeah, we got talking about his music and all this other stuff. And I said, "It's really interesting sound." He goes, "Well, thank you." So yeah, maybe I'll have him on here. Who knows? Um, I'd like to do that. I'd like to get a Zoom call going or something like that with them, and maybe some other bands that are out there that are really good. To hear their, how you say, their perspective on their music and what they're coming out with soon, and possibly how they perceive the actual music itself, which would be awesome. I think that'd be great. So, what I would like for people to do, and hopefully you will help me out with this, plus I gotta get an intro, is that we have more followers, more likes, and maybe subscribing. We'll see what happens. Be kind of interesting to see, maybe watching the channel grow. Um, so that way we can talk to certain people. I think it'd be great because I would love to hear more from them, what their music means to them, what it's about, and getting things going. Because I know I had listened to a couple other interviews, one of a band that I definitely think highly of, um, and the bandmates, which actually was really cool to watch them talk live, which I haven't seen the whole interview that he's done with them. Um, so it'd be kind of interesting to see what they have to say about it. It's some of their new albums coming up later on. The only thing is, I was, they were talking about they were working on something. It was back in, was it? I think it was in August they did the interview, maybe, or was it in 20? Yeah, I don't remember. I think it was 2022. No, sorry, 2020. Or was it 20? I don't remember. I didn't look at it that closely. Hold on here. Let me see if I can find it here real quick. No, it was 1 year ago. So, yeah, it's interesting. The way it sounded like they were actually going to be releasing a whole new album, what I thought, and apparently that did not happen as planned. Maybe I don't know if there was a reason for that. I'd have to ask them that question, but like I said, I've kind of made some people angry with me, so I might have burned some bridges. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Um, and also, another one that's rather interesting. I was reading about Loudwire with Kerry King. Said he felt angry about Slayer's premature retirement, which we were on top of the world at the time, I guess. Basically, it seemed to me like they were getting to the point where they were getting well known as far as like the whole being on national TV, getting recognized by people that would not know who they are. They might have heard their songs before. It's hard saying. And yeah, that was a few years. That's quite a few years ago. It's 2018, 2019. Closing, basically retiring, not wanting to do any more music after that, which is kind of sad to see that happen, because to me they're really awesome. They're it's one of the greatest not quite so well known metal bands by most people. And oh yeah, I forgot. There's also a Loudwire list of the songs from worst to the best songs that they've done. I guess Playing with Dolls is 118 out of 118 and one. And I forgot what they ranked the very first one. Angel of Death, yeah, that's definitely number one, 86. War Assembly was number two in the Seasons of the Abyss, 1990. And of course, oh no, that's Rain in Blood. That's different. Oh, Raining Blood. That's it. Okay, in Blood is what the album was called. In 1986, which usually most of the better ones usually for most of these bands seem to be like from the 80s or the 90s that they've been around for a while, which is kind of sad that they've been around that long and not a whole lot of people knew who they were. I had heard of them for several years, probably when I was listening to Metallica and Megadeth, but I didn't hear their music because, like I said, it wasn't the mainstream media music as much, which is kind of sad. So they did a lot of their stuff without really getting. I mean, they're on some major labels, of course, but it's like they're not way out there on the radio. They don't really have the radio time, unless you're in Headbangers Ball on MTV. That they would play it on there. Some of their music and like Biohazard and some of the other ones that are some of the great ones out there for metal bands that are not well known, unfortunately, by the general average Joe public kind of people. It's rather interesting. Some of the songs from different albums. Show No Mercy is one of the. Okay, I see that one. I don't know as well. Seasons in the Abyss of 1990. I know that one. It's 83, so I might have to check out some of those because I know quite a few songs, but I don't know all their songs, unfortunately. Because, like I said, I was not well versed in that, so I'll have to do that. Oh, God Hates Us All. That one's like one of the. I think is a really good album. In 2001, which is a fairly new one. Excuse me. Well, at least for them, anyway. See what else. Psychopathic Red, Blood Red. I thought there was another one that I saw that was really. I remember that was really good. Divine Intervention, Hell Awaits, Kill Again. Let's see here. Anyway, so yeah, that was kind of interesting that I don't know when this article came out because I had just gotten it today on my phone. It popped up there, so it might be an old article. I might not have gotten that right away, so but it's rather interesting that it's kind of like a lot of other bands. Oh, this says January 6, 2023, so I guess it's a fairly new article that they were talking about, but I guess they talked to Jerry King, Kerry King on that, which is kind of upsetting. Anyway, so really, I don't know what else to say, to be honest, because there's a lot of going on in music. There's a lot of new albums coming out, like the Abyss. Oh no. Let me see here.